Let's cross now to Barbara Honeyback, former Democrat White House staffer, joining us live from Brisbane. Barbara, do you feel any disappointment that Kamala Harris hasn't been able to become the first woman of colour and first woman to be elected to the presidency?
I am so disappointed and really insulted. I'm a Howard alum, and that she didn't have the decency to walk out and say something to her, to her university, make a comment to the United States. Things were not looking well for her. It wasn't completely over, but short of a miracle, we knew which way this was going. And that she didn't have some grace. I mean, it shows us how classless she actually is, a sore loser. And even though it's painful for her, for the Democrats, I think America might be relieved at recognizing and realizing they don't have to put up with this any longer. And if this is what they were walking into, maybe it's better that it gets, cut at the nip right now.
Here's another Howard alum who worked under Democrats Clinton and Carter, and she's telling nothing but the truth. When I first saw that Kamala wasn't coming out last night, the first thought in my head was, I know this is not the same woman who was trying to be the commander-in-chief. The lady that couldn't answer any questions, never had an actual campaign press conference like most candidates, not one at all during the election. The same woman who waited 40 days and 40 nights to do her first softball interview with her emotional support puppy Timmy sitting right there next to her, where CNN took out half the interview to try to make her look more competent. Everybody was calling this woman, not asking her any real questions, like that was somehow going to make it better.
Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk.
All they did was shelter and protect her from questions, which is why she was unprepared whenever she faced any real opposition. If she got a piece of a tough question, she would just crumble. Just like this moment here. All these folks gathered at Howard to support her, and she couldn't even give them a piece of a speech. And let me tell you, there's no excuse, because in situations like this, they already have like 3 speeches ready. The victory speech, the concession speech, or the same speech she sent this guy out there to deliver. Because she didn't have the strength to do it herself.
We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the Vice President tonight.
Well, she's such a poor candidate, Barbara. She's such a poor candidate. Of course, she was a surprise pick for vice president as the running mate for Joe Biden, but he said he was going to pick a woman of colour, and she got the gig. She's never won an election of any substance. This would have been the first one if she didn't get a vote when she contested the primaries.
On the national stage, Kamala was definitely a failure. The first time she ran, she was doing so poorly, she dropped out the race with 0 votes. Then once again, she was saved and given a position when Biden was pressured into picking a black woman. Now, they knew this lady was Indian, but they said we could pass this chameleon off, so come on. And they went ahead and made her VP. Before that, she just had those California elections. And she only won California off the back of Willie Brown. He's the one who basically put her in position as his mistress. Very early on, he used his power to get her 6-figure positions on boards that she knew nothing about. Barely showed up for work. Then also used his political power to get her elected as the San Francisco DA. For those who don't know, that's why I call her the city girl president. She scammed her way up the ladder and all the way to the White House. Then tried to claim the #1 position in the world, President of the United States of America. It's crazy because she's been so used to getting her way that when she was fired by millions of Americans, she wouldn't even come out and address the people who rocked with her.
Why do you think she's failed? What was the biggest mistake of the Democrat campaign?
The biggest mistake was her not selecting Shapiro. I mean, she had an ace in the hole, and she didn't take that. Shapiro is so well respected, liked. He's doing an incredible job in Pennsylvania. And the reason she didn't take it is another part of that personality that, eked through. She is so completely insecure that she could not have someone that bright around her to upstage her and outshine her. And so this is why she didn't select him, I'm pretty sure.
Which is exactly why she was so comfortable at Howard University around all those black people. For once in her life, she felt special as a non-black woman surrounded by a whole bunch of black people. She was the big deal of the black sorority filled with black women as a non-black woman. And for the last 4 years, she made history becoming the first Asian VP and first female VP, while at the same time, she became the center of the sorority as a high-profile member and the most important member of a black sorority being a non-black woman. It's really deep. The worshiping of this lady by most of the Divine Nine, not all, because I do know some who watch this channel, they didn't ride for her, but the rest of them, which is most of them, worship this woman. From your famous Qs like D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey, and Ricky Smiley, to other AKAs like Tamika Mallory and Sunny Hostin. They all protected her big time, including beta male alphas like Roland Martin and Ben Crump.
Is protect her. We have to protect her.
She made a lot of mistakes by bringing on all of Hollywood and Beyonce and all of these people.
But they always do that.
Beyonce wasn't very happy.
They always do that.
Beyonce wasn't happy.
Yeah, it's pathetic. Now you know the Democrats. You're connected to them. You've worked in the White House for Democrat presidents. So tell us what they're going to go through in coming days. They may lose the House and the Senate as well. They may have gone backwards in the House and lose the Senate. A very, very dark day for the Democrats. Do you expect them to learn? Do you expect serious recriminations?
One of the things I noticed is that, or I really believe is going to happen, is that, we have to remember that Obama and Michelle did not come out to endorse her for about more than a week, about 10 days after all of the other elite Democrats did, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all of the others. But they didn't come out. And Obama really wanted to have a proper, go through the process of the primary and everything, let the Democratic National Committee choose and select who they really wanted for a candidate. Obama has been telling people all along, before she became vice president, not to do this and not to jump to that. Willie Brown as well, who had been the mayor of San Francisco, said give her a position somewhere, but not VP. So VP. People closer to her knew what was, coming on. And so they didn't listen to that. The Congress, I don't know which way it's going to go, but I think that if we have a couple more Republicans in the Senate to carry us through these next 4 years, but I think it's going to be easier for Trump than it was, back in 2016.
It could well be. He could be a much more powerful president than he was last time around. Thanks for joining us, Barbara.
Yeah, they didn't want a fair competition. That's why they eliminated the Democrat primary. These folks knew if they had that primary, then Kamala wouldn't have been the nominee. If she had to actually compete with anybody for real, well, we all see what happened, not just once, but twice now. Barbara served under the Carter administration and Bill Clinton, and she's saying that Kamala refusing to speak last night showed that she had no class. Tell me what you think about what Barbara had to say below. Special thank you to Havelock. I appreciate you, Havelock, for all of your support, as well as Adrian, Emmanuel, Samuel, Christine, Julie, and Donald G. I want to thank all of you for your contributions to the channel, helping these videos get out. If you want to show your support for the channel too, you have to use PayPal for now. The link is below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.